date for the Californian beekeeper. The pollination season begins in February. At this time, the beehives are in particular demand by farmers who have almond groves. They need 2 hives an acre. For the 3-week-long bloom, beekeepers can hire out their hives for $32 each. It's a bonanza for the bees too. Most people consider almond honey too bitter to eat, so the bees get to keep it for themselves. By early March, it is time to move the bees. It can take up to 7 nights to pack the 4,000 or so hives that a beekeeper may own. These are not moved in the middle of the day because too many of the bees would end up homeless. But at night, the hives are stacked onto wooden pallets, back to back in sets of 4, and lifted onto a truck. It is not necessary to wear gloves or a beekeeper's veil because the hives are not being opened and the bees should remain relatively quiet. Just in case some are still lively, bees can be pacified with a few puffs of smoke blown into each hive's narrow entrance. In their new location, the beekeeper will pay the farmer to allow his bees to feed in such places as orange groves. The honey produced here is fragrant and sweet and can be sold by the beekeepers. To encourage the bees to produce as much honey as possible during this period, the beekeepers open the hives and stack extra boxes called supers on top. These temporary hive extensions contain frames of empty comb for the bees to fill with honey. In the brood chamber below, the bees will stash honey to eat later. To prevent the queen from crawling up to the top and laying eggs, a screen can be inserted between the brood chamber and the supers. 3 weeks later, the honey can be gathered. Foul-smelling chemicals are often used to irritate the bees and drive them down into the hive's bottom boxes, leaving the honey-filled supers more or less bee-free. These can then be pulled off the hive. They are heavy with honey and may weigh up to 90 pounds each. The supers are taken to a warehouse. In the extracting room, the frames are lifted out and lowered into an uncapar, where rotating blades shave away the wax that covers each cell. The uncapped frames are put in a carousel that sits on the bottom of a large stainless steel drum. The carousel is filled to capacity with 72 frames. A switch is flipped and the frames begin to whirl at 300 revolutions per minute. Centrifugal force throws the honey out of the combs. Finally, the honey is poured into barrels for shipment. After this, approximately a quarter of the hives weakened by disease, mites, or an aging or dead queen will have to be replaced. To create new colonies, a healthy double hive, teeming with bees, can be separated into 2 boxes. One half will hold the queen and a young, already mated queen can be put in the other half to make 2 hives from 1. By the time the flowers bloom, the new queens will be laying eggs, filling each hive with young worker bees. The beekeeper's family will then migrate with them to their summer location.